What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This week has probably been the most highly anticipated podcast we have had this entire time. We have been looking forward to this week since the summer. I remember me and Spencer were sitting on our driveway at this house before we were able to move in, talking about how excited we were going to be for this week. We said game day is probably going to be here. It's going to be a night game. We're going to get up early, go to the game. We've been talking about this week 4 months, and it's finally here. It's finally here, baby. So let's get into it. What do you guys have to say so far about this week?
Go ahead, man.
All right, well,
Go ahead.
It's the biggest week in Norman since I've been around for the past 4 years. And probably, I would argue, throughout the entire Lincoln Riley days, this is a bigger game than any of those games.
So easy.
Because we didn't have any big games during that. We had the Big 12 schedule, and then we also had the kind of easy non-conference. And so this is just one of the biggest environments in Norman in such a long time. Game day hasn't been here since 2020. That game was mid, and it was also a fake game day because it was COVID. And before that, it was 2012. And so it's been a long time since we've had national attention on Norman, Oklahoma like this. And so just super exciting to have Norman, Oklahoma, and the Oklahoma Sooners be everybody's focus. It's been really cool when you're watching ESPN to see like our commercial versus Tennessee. It's really that just doesn't happen. I haven't seen us be on a commercial in so long.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to have all this national attention for this week. And it's also cool that we get an insanely good matchup.
Yeah.
Like, we get to go to our home stadium and have a brand name come in. That's what I think I love most about this matchup is the fact that it's a brand name. Like, the Big 12, you would have top 10 schools running here sometimes. Like, randomly, TCU would be really good, or randomly, OSU would be really good. Or, I guess Texas never came here, but
K-State.
But yeah, like, randomly teams would come in here that were really good. And Ohio State even came here. But it's cool that we have multiple, this year, blue blood, brand names. Like, names that everybody knows. Tennessee, Alabama. Everybody knows Tennessee and Alabama football. I mean, those are iconic. So that's what I think is cool, is national attention and just a brand name battle.
Yep.
I mean, kind of what you said. Last big game I can think of that's been this big was probably OU versus Texas Tech.
08.
2008, yeah. They were what, number 2?
Number one, number two.
We were number 1, number 2. I think we were 5, something like that.
Yeah.
And like you see those videos and it looks like it was shot on a potato,
Mm-hmm.
but it is packed.
Yeah.
That is what, honestly, like,
Yeah.
football's football, and the sun will rise again whether we win or we lose.
No, it won't.
It will. It will. Being honest,
Let's see that.
it will. The day might suck, but the sun will rise. But I'm going to remember how like I felt like with all these people in the stadium,
Yeah.
more than how I felt because we lost.
Yeah.
But we
Sure.
won.
Like the chants.
Like the chants,
and screaming.
like-
Yeah.
Because last year, I mean, OU Texas, that was probably the craziest environment I've ever been in,
Best, yeah.
and that's split 50-50. So imagine it's 95%
Yeah.
of the stadium. You get the 5% in the corner. Yeah, that's Tennessee fans. They're probably going to be more than that, but still, like, it is going to be ridiculous. And if it's not, we failed. As, like, fans and students, we have failed so bad.
Do we want to go ahead and open our OU analysis with the fans? Because I think, since we're already on the subject, last week, obviously, everyone's hating on the student section for dipping at halftime.
Which is valid.
I think. Go ahead.
You know, it was tough to say because we went into halftime and you looked at the score and you're like, this is a blowout. If you were, let's say it's 3 minutes before halftime and you're talking to your friends, do we leave or not? It's 21-0. It's hot as balls.
Yeah.
You're thinking to yourself, this is a blowout and it's hot as balls, let's leave. And I can understand, I obviously wouldn't do that because I love to watch the backups play. But if I'm a sorority girl, I'm going to the dang bars. So I understand. But I think if the game was as close in the first half as it was in the second half, then you would have seen less people leave. However, somewhat inexcusable. Another thing, but the thing is that other fans are dogging us for what happened last week. I think that's not going to happen for Tennessee. It's just not. I don't care if we're getting blown out. People aren't going to leave. So at least not until like the fourth quarter. So I'm expecting, and I will be mad if it is not outrage and bedlam and chaos in that stadium. It should be. I don't know if y'all noticed this because it's above you, behind you, but that upper deck, that third upper deck way up there, it never gets full. I haven't seen it since the Nebraska game a couple of years ago. That was the last time and the only time I ever saw it get full. I fully expect that to be full. Fully expect the student section to go crazy. I really hope we get that beat the hell out of you chant back going. It hasn't really kicked up yet, but yeah. I am expecting and hoping that it should be absolute chaos. But, what do you guys think about what happened last week?
I'll say, and I've said this, I think as a fan, as us, we are people that will stick through the game. Doesn't matter what score is. But I feel like the only people that can really have anything to say is if you're sitting on, what side do we sit on? East? Or no way?
The
what
north.
Side is it, the north?
Yeah.
If you sit in the shade and the sun's not beating on you, I don't want to hear you talk.
That is fair.
Because most of the people on Twitter that are saying all of the students and they take pictures are on the opposite side of the stadium where the sun is not hitting you for the whole, and it just gets worse.
Yeah.
And so last weekend, and I know people are dogging us, it's Parents' Weekend. So that's already an excuse for people. I'll say, every time I say excuse, I'll say it's a valid excuse. It's Parents' Weekend. People want to go out and hang out with their parents. I understand it. We played god-awful the week before. So when the game started, it wasn't even full in the student section. That, to the right of us, that top right there,
it wasn't
even full.
It was never full.
It was never full. Houston, it got full, but it was never, ever full. So I'm like, okay. And then third, like I said, it is steaming. People are drunk. I said, if I'm drunk, I'm not standing. I saw 3 girls pass out.
Yeah.
So
it's always the girls, dude.
It's always
they can't seem to figure it out.
Passed out in my entire life.
I've never passed out. That's a whole other thing.
I think the blowout, what appeared to be a blowout, was a big factor. But I also think you're right. People in the shade talking about people in the sun,
in the heat,
you don't understand.
And most of the time they're old heads and they're sitting.
They're always sitting.
They're always sitting. They got the little chair backs.
Yep.
We are standing.
Damn donors.
For.
That's what they are.
That's fact. These are great dudes. They're not ready for SEC.
They have a padded cushion.
Yeah.
Padded cushion.
We're in a Hawaiian
I've
shirt.
had season tickets for 39 years. I don't leave early. It's like, okay, you sit in the press box.
Exactly. You got
sit in a sweet with a hot dog and a beer.
Exactly.
Easy for you to say.
So,
but I believe in our student section. I believe in our fans. But I don't just want to sell out. I don't just want to pack the stadium. I want something that we haven't seen. I've never seen.
Let me jump in on this.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
What you just said is exactly what I want. I told Kylan we're going to try to get there probably an hour before the gates open, get front row. I am saying everything under the sun that would not get me arrested or canceled.
Get this podcast.
Everything else is go.
Yeah.
I'm saying the craziest things, and I want everybody else to be on the exact same page. I want the whole stadium standing the whole time.
Yes.
I want when they come out on their first drive on offense, I want it to be so loud that Nico is doing this.
Penn State defense.
And he's looking at the sideline, and he goes up to the line, and you know how the quarterback walks up to the line, and they have to turn around just to hear him. That's what I want them to do. I don't want them just to sit there. I want them to turn around to make sure they can hear.
I love when you see a wide receiver go
that's what I'm saying.
Oh boy, that's when you know you're ahead.
That is what I want.
The thing is, people don't understand that yes, that causes confusion, but that creates so much doubt in a quarterback's mind.
Oh yeah,
because he's did he get the right signal? Because if he runs the wrong route, the QB has to toast. So,
but to add to that though is a lot of students I think who don't really know football, who it's like the sorority girls and frat guys who are just we're just here to get drunk, have a good time, and go out to the bars in the third quarter. I don't think they understand how much a crowd can influence a game. It is night, and this is actually on one of my key things to win, which is the crowd, which I'll get to that here like later on. But it is a huge, huge influence on the success of the team. And I'm telling you, if third downs, it's so loud where you can't even hear yourself think. For dang sure the players on the field are not going to be able to hear themselves think. If we can hear ourselves in the stadium, they're not going to be able to hear anything. And it's just like we need to create that, most importantly, we need to create that atmosphere for Tennessee. Because, and this kind of goes into their analysis, which I won't dive too deep into, but they have not played a true road game all year. They played at a neutral site versus NC State, and they've had 2 home games. So they really have not had a true, road game experience. And now there has Nico. Nico hasn't played in a loud environment. And if we can just get it crazy, anyways, we need to, I want the place, rocking. I want the whole crowd to be jumping. Have you seen, those videos, 08, where they're jump, jump,
Here's how I'll finish off this.
Sorry, Pod. We had a little technical issues. The camera shut off.
I'll finish up the topic of the crowd with this. I've never seen it. That's why I'm a little concerned about the whole crowd, because I have never seen a crowd the way I want it to look.
I've also never seen any SEC team this good coming
True. No.
Oklahoma.
I've only watched us play. The best game I've ever seen at home is Bedlam, and Bedlam has been uncompetitive. So at home. So yeah, I agree that hopefully the competition will raise the bar, but I've never seen it, so I have my doubts about what the student section can do.
One quick thing I will add is that I think there's enough people that understand the magnitude of this game who care. That most people, this is in life in general, are just...
All right, another technical error. Sorry, guys. It's just the beta stages. We're working through it. But that was a good start to get us into the OU analysis.
Yeah, let's dive deep.
I feel like it's the same thing every single week.
Yeah.
Can the O-line block? Can Jackson play to his best ability? Can our defense keep playing at a high level? And can our receivers catch the ball?
Yeah.
Can we do the run game?
Yeah, let's not spend too much time on OU. You already know. We'll dive more on Tennessee, but...
And I have a lot of notes, chat.
I will say that
my research.
It looks like Nick Anderson is back. Social media is saying that.
Yep. And Branson Hickman.
Yeah, allegedly that's another thing, and hopefully I'm hoping we get Dolby back. I think that's a big piece.
I feel like he might come back.
I don't know, but I'm pretty confident that we lost Gentry, which sucks because our corner depth isn't great, and I don't think we'll see Andrell. I think we might Desan. I don't know. So we're getting an injury report tonight per SEC requirements. So that's the main thing that I think has changed since last week is we have some guys back. Some. So Nick Anderson being the biggest one. That's a game changer. Nick Anderson is a game changer. He will be our tallest receiver out there by 5 inches. So which 5 inches is a very big, large, huge difference. So
it's a game changer.
Game changer, truly.
One would say.
Do you have any things to break out other than O-line?
Same thing. I don't want to spend too much time because I do want to get into Tennessee, but it's just the same thing. O-line, can we block, hold up on Tennessee's D-line? Can Jackson make throws? Can our receivers catch the ball? And can Taylor Tatum and Javonte keep doing what they're doing?
Yep.
Making plays and being creative. Got anything? Cooking up over there.
I'm just messing with little...
Quit messing with it.
Quit messing with it. It's working.
It is working.
Quit messing.
Making sure it's good, guys.
Quit messing with
You
it.
see how they treat me, Pod? You see that?
You better not break it.
Watch it.
All right.
No, but basically, I know I saw BB said that he wants to. The one thing I just had a problem with, he was like, "We're going to have to use all 3 backs," and he hopes one back emerges. And
He has 3 games to do that.
I just looked at myself in the mirror. I said, "Has one not already emerged?" 2, maybe.
How does it
I know
work?
one has not emerged, and so
You do.
that's what non-con is for.
That's what non-con
Yeah,
is for.
that's
That's what it's there for. Like, no,
3, 4.
it's not time.
One has not emerged.
It is
So
not
your
time.
decision is pretty much made for you.
Well, it's the same thing too. Is how can everybody else see it?
Yeah.
But you guys.
See, I don't care about practicing.
I don't get it.
I promise you, if I had a player who was god awful in practice, but I put him in the game, he's a stud. Psh, you don't even got to come to practice. You don't even got to come.
You know, one thing I heard is running back is one of the easiest positions to be a true freshman and succeed in. You know, quarterback is probably the hardest.
Yeah.
But running back,
I'd agree.
if you're really good in high school, you can transition pretty easily to college if you are that guy.
Yeah.
That's very true.
You'll see plenty of freshman running backs. You know, Adrian Peterson came in his freshman year and just was already rolling. You know what I
Ollie
mean?
Gordon.
Yeah. They come in.
Well, did he play?
I don't think he played.
Well, Mike Gundy didn't play him. That was the biggest issue.
But
But you see tons of freshman running backs come in and they're successful from the jump.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but
Most.
a lot of them can do it from the jump. And so, in my opinion, there should be no hesitancy with like, oh, he's a true freshman. Let him play.
I don't know.
You know what's crazy? I heard this week. He was playing in his high school baseball state tournament in May.
Yep.
In May. He wasn't on campus until June. Was not on campus. Didn't get to Schmitty until June. And he's balling out over guys like Javante who have been here for years and years. So.
Wow. Should we dive into Tennessee?
Yeah, let's do Tennessee.
Okay. I'm gonna cook here.
All right, you go ahead. Do your cooking because he's done it.
Should I go through everything
Go through
at
all
once?
you got. All you got.
Okay. This might be a while, but I'm gonna get through it. Tennessee, I have done a very deep dive over all of your stats, all of your players, and I've come up with a list of key things that I think can help us win, holes in Tennessee's defense, and I think I've created a format of how we can beat Tennessee if we follow these rules. But I'm just going to dive into the stats real quick first. Number one right now, Tennessee is number 2 in total defense and number 3 in scoring, which means they are top 3 in probably the 2 most important categories that a football team can have, scoring and total defense.
Against bad teams.
Against bad teams, let me clarify.
Yeah.
Against non-top 50 teams, but still nonetheless impressive.
NC State. They were technically ranked.
NC State,
They're not very good.
yeah, but they suck. They're not good. Their offense is averaging 63.67 points per game, and they're allowing an average of 4.3 points per game.
God.
They have outscored opponents 191-13
That's pretty good.
over the last 3 games. 191-13. It's unbelievable. Last week, like you said, Spencer, they won 71-0, led 65 at half, which was the largest lead margin in a half in school history. So, which is just insane. Their offense, let's just start out with their offense. 45 on the season, 45 rushing first downs and 44 passing first downs. They might be the most balanced team in college football.
Yeah, I would say 1-2 punch right there.
They
Super
are
balanced.
equivalent by 1 first down. They're averaging 7 yards a carry, averaging 336 rushing yards a game. They're averaging 306 passing yards per game. They're averaging 642 yards of total offense per game.
No, that's insane.
They're averaging 9.88 yards per pass. They're averaging a first down every pass attempt that they're throwing the ball, which is insane. They have 14 rushing touchdowns and 8 passing touchdowns. Now, here is where I get in the tea. Enough hype about Tennessee. I want to get into the mess of Tennessee. Now, here's one thing that is interesting that would be a good number, quote unquote, for their defense. They've only allowed 25 first downs the entire season. However, 16 of those 25 first downs were passing, only 9 were rushing. So it makes you wonder. They've almost doubled. They have allowed almost double the amount of passing first downs as they have rushing first downs, which is a clear telltale sign their secondary is worse than their D-line, / linebackers, whatever you want to call it. Their offense, they have 14 rushing touchdowns versus 8 passing touchdowns. So while they're averaging pretty much the same amount of first downs on offense, they are roughly doubling their touchdowns via running, and they're not as much with passing. Now, before I get into this I'm going to get into one thing. Time of possession. Over the last 3 games, Tennessee's time of possession versus their opponents, Tennessee has averaged the ball 30 minutes and 48 seconds. Their opponents have averaged 29 minutes, 11 seconds. What's really strange is that doesn't make sense to me, because how are you scoring 63 points and allowing 4 points per game, but you're averaging almost exactly the same amount of time on offense? Which tells me what Tennessee is doing is they're getting the ball, they're scoring quickly, their opponents are getting the ball, holding it, they punt it, Tennessee scores quickly. And that's how it manages to be balanced out in the game. Let me get back in. Another technical issue, chat. Thank you for your patience. So here is where I'm going to maybe cause some disruption along the table. After all of my research, I have looked up who are the key players that we need to look out for this game. And there's one big name that gets brought up every single time. James Pierce Jr. So I decided to look into, okay, everybody talks about this guy. He's a top 15 pick. He's the best D lineman in Tennessee, whatever. Everybody wants to talk about how much of an impact key player he is. Let's look at the stats. And I'm going to be honest here. I don't think James Pierce Jr. is all that we make him out to be. And here is exactly why.
This season, yeah.
Here is exactly why. James Pierce Jr. on the season, 0 sacks, 0.5 tackles for loss. Doesn't have 1 full tackle for loss the entire season. He has 1 total tackle and 5 QB hits. You want to know an interesting stat? Nico Iamaleava has more solo tackles than James Pierce Jr. Nico Iamaleava, the starting quarterback, has more tackles than James Pierce Jr. Hype can get you by, but the numbers don't lie. Let me tell you something too right now. So I said, okay, who is the most impactful player that's playing right now on Tennessee's D-line? I looked at all their stats, all their players. And one name came up, Tyre West. He's an interior D lineman for Tennessee. On the season, he has 1 sack, 2.5 tackles for loss, 3 assists, 3 solo tackles, 1 QB hit, 1 forced fumble, and 6 total tackles. How he measures up to James Pierce Jr. He has 1 sack, James Pierce Jr. has 0. He has 2.5 tackles for loss, James Pierce Jr. has half a tackle for loss. James Pierce Jr. has 0 forced fumbles, Tyre West has 1 forced fumble. James Pierce Jr. has 1 total tackle, Tyre West has 6 total tackles.
Who's Tyre West?
He's an interior D lineman for Tennessee. If there is anybody we need to look out for, based off their current measure of play, it is Tyre West. And if anything, James Pierce Jr. should be getting more tackles for losses. He's the defensive end.
Yeah.
He is the one who gets in the backfield. That's literally his job, is tackles for losses. Yet an interior D lineman is getting more tackles for losses.
Yeah, so I'll add on to this. I think it is really interesting that James Pierce Jr. has started off this slow.
Yeah.
Because, his hype was real. And I'm going to be honest, you're playing these bad offensive lines, you should be balling out.
Yes.
I don't care what the game plan is. I don't care if the game plan isn't maybe they weren't blitzing a lot or whatever. I don't care what the game plan is. You get made out to be ESPN makes you the number 1 player in the country. That's what they said.
Yep.
Beginning of the year, they said he's the number 1 player, all positions in the country. And you're doing nothing. Our Mason Thomas is the guy with the best season so far on the field when it comes to both defenses.
Yeah.
He is the best player with the best season on the field is our Mason Thomas. And you look at our Mason Thomas, you look at James Pierce Jr. James Pierce Jr. is a scary-looking dude, very well-built for D-end. So is our Mason Thomas. Our Mason Thomas is a very SEC built.
Yes.
He is a very SEC built D-end.
Yes.
And so, we're talking about James Pierce Jr., but I think we have an equivalent. I think we have a great D-line. And I think ours matches up very with them. Problem is, we do have a very bad O-line, but I'm sure.
So did Kent State.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is so did Kent State. How do you not have a sack against Kent State?
Yeah.
How do you not have a? We would have had 6 sacks against Kent State. Like literally, our Mason Thomas would have had 3 by himself.
Yes.
And so, and the tackles for losses is crazy. I mean, Danny Stutzman has, 30 tackles for losses last season, and Ethan Downs and Dolby and these guys are getting. So if I'm Tennessee, I'm super concerned that James Pierce Jr. is not putting up these numbers. So
Yeah.
and that puts some relaxation in my mind for sure about
Yeah.
the whole Tennessee defense thing.
Yeah. That was the biggest thing, was James Pierce Jr.
And everyone
Underdog line.
everyone talks about OU's game plan needs to be attack the secondary because that's their weak spot on defense. Well, if their secondary is weak and James Pierce Jr. isn't balling out this season, then our offense has a chance.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I'm saying.
that's the hope here.
Their defense has allowed almost double the passing first downs than they have rushing.
Yeah.
And that's playing against bad teams. The secondary is wide open, and if James Pierce Jr., just like you said, if he's not playing that good, we have a chance.
Kylan, I think you would know more about this. What tackle do you think is going to be on James Pierce Jr.? Tarquin or who's the other end?
James Pierce Jr. usually plays right end, so he's probably going to be facing Jake Taylor.
Yeah.
Is our right end, or he's
Yeah.
our
I have Jake
he's our
Taylor as
left. He's our left tackle because it's like opposite.
Yeah.
on my OU dynasty. I have Jake Taylor as a tight end, and when you bump him to tight end, he becomes like a 94 overall. It's ridiculous, but he's huge anyways. Jake Taylor, and the main thing is we're probably not going to single block.
No shot.
It will probably literally be like double teaming.
But you know who we need to be double teaming? Tyre West.
Yeah.
And that's who we need to be double teaming.
I'm sure
He's the best player on their their whole defense.
the one
He's the best player right now.
one coach that I believe will make a great game plan for this D line and look at these stats is Bill Bedenbaugh. And I also think maybe James Pierce Jr. isn't having a great game. We might shift over to Tyre West, and Bill Bedenbaugh will be prepared to do that.
Yeah.
And he's probably prepping the guys right now.
Yeah.
So I trust that Bill Bedenbaugh will get the right game plan for this D line, and that he's looking at the film. I know he's looking at the film. That's the one thing I know that he's doing, is looking at this film. So
He's probably sitting in there right now.
he probably is, and with his boys too, with the guys. So I'm trusting in that. I can't put too much confidence in the O line, but it's a sigh of relief when you see James Pierce Jr. not having a Heisman level or whatever the best D line country trophy is. That's what we all expected, is for him to be up for that trophy, and he's not. So it's a sigh of relief for us and Bill Bedenbaugh, because even if we allow 3 or 4 sacks this game, that is not the end of the world compared to what could be.
Yeah.
So, if we're allowing as many sacks as we did at Tulane, then we can manage that. That. And a little less pressure, we can manage. So,
You have any thoughts on that?
I'm going to say before Mr. West comes and get us, it's Tyree.
Sorry, Tyree.
Before he gets, because all 3 of us, we're not taking it. So
Why are there 2 E's on his last
Hey,
name?
they
It's
still
just
never
one
want
E.
to spell it.
Who's they? Who's they?
My fault every time. They, as in his mama.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
His parents.
Yeah,
That's
good
his
recovery. Good
So,
recovery.
I mean, even if I didn't, it's me. I can do it.
Yes.
But here's my thing. I think that Mr. James Pierce Jr., although he's not having a great year, I'm not going to play him down, because we saw I can't just write off everything that everyone has said, because we're not experts. I don't claim to be an expert, because he put up insane numbers last year, so it's there.
It is there.
It's there. He might be having a slow start, which is very fair. But I just looked at his snap count. He played like 10 snaps in their first game.
Okay.
Now during the NC State game, played like 30.
Uh-huh.
So then you're like, why is he not getting in 30 snaps? You should get something.
Yeah.
So I will agree that he is not playing up to his potential. But I still, if there's anyone on that defense, I'm still game planning for him. I'm not saying, he has 1 tackle.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can't just, because I feel like he might be one of those that can just, boom. And it's just like, man, we've been playing these scrubs. I don't even really need to. And then first play of the game, Jake Taylor gets thrown into the 3rd row. And he's like,
Which is so possible.
which is like,
I totally think,
because I think our
different.
O-line, we have not seen that. Especially those guys that are on the O-line, they have never. I mean, we have R. Mason, but R. Mason is like, I think he's like 6'4", maybe. Yeah. James Pierce Jr. is 6'6". Mm-hmm. Like, he is literally built like a basketball. Like,
the thing is, he's as tall as our tallest in PJ, and as big as our biggest
He's
and our
like
amazing.
6'6", like 265.
He is a hybrid of our best 2D ends,
Yeah.
which is
Which is why I can't write him off completely, but I will say all the hype that he had coming into the season, he's not living up to it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of football players, as soon as people start doubting them, that's when they just start locking in.
Or conference play.
Or conference play. Because, I mean, I think, I can speak for us, I think there's going to be a new level for OU players. They're like, hey, we got something to prove. JPJ, I bet he's probably sitting there thinking the same thing.
There's something I want to get into about that too, which is one, you're exactly right. We can't just look over James Pierce Jr.
Yeah.
But I think right now he is not the main threat. Tyree
There you go.
West is. But with that, and this is something interesting about Tennessee that I think they're going to have to make a major adjustment is the last 2 games, our starters have had to play the entire game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, because we haven't been up.
Tennessee's players, they have not played 4 quarters all season long. They played 2 quarters. And so granted, that might also be why James Pierce Jr.'s stats aren't that high. But I will tell you right now, it is really hard to go from playing half a game to where you're going to have to play a full game.
Well, it's not
double the time.
It's not even just the more minutes, the more fatigue. It's also, we were in a battle versus Houston, a battle versus Tulane, and that's not good. But Jackson Arnold is now going to be much less scared of the moment,
right?
Compared to what he was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Whether I don't know if he's going to be just have the clutch gene, but like he is much more prepared for the moment.
Yeah.
If we go into a game and it's the 4th quarter and Nico and Jackson Arnold are facing, at 1 score differential, 15 minutes on the clock, you got to do what you got to do. Jackson's been there. Jackson literally has been there.
Yeah.
We have put him in. We were up 16-12, and we said, you got to go get first downs. That was, he had to.
Yeah.
Nico has never experienced that. So, hopefully that experience pays off a little bit. And another thing about Nico, he is, we'll actually just go ahead and turn this thing over to Nico. And on the offense, Nico has not been under pressure at all. Literally at all. And he's a freshman, redshirt, but he's a freshman, and I was hearing people saying this is like every freshman has mistakes. Caleb Williams, we were chanting for him to get out of that Bedlam game because he was looking shaky. Even the greatest, even the greatest in their freshman year have their moments and make their mistakes.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that yet from Nico. He's looked like Mr. Perfect guy that's going to come in and be the perfect quarterback, and that's what Tennessee's thinking. It's like, he's not going to make a mistake. It's never
moving
going
up
to
the
happen.
Heisman rankings, all this stuff.
No, it's going to happen. He's going to have his game. And so the question for us, I think, is how do we make Nico start making mistakes? How do we get fear in Nico's mind for the first time? Yes, but we need to make Nico scared. If there's anything I'm telling the defense, it's like we need to make him nervous. Like halftime, he needs to sit down at halftime and be like, I'm afraid to get back out there.
Or he needs to be sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, this is actually a ball game.
Yes.
He doesn't have that yet. Yeah.
I think if I'm Nico, I think I'm on top of the world right now. I have so much confidence. We need to just first drive out there. I would love to see an Iowa State. I don't know if y'all remember this last year. First down goes by, second down goes by, 3rd and 10, quarterback rolls out, Billy Bowman pick to the house. If that, obviously, that's a lot to hope for, but a pick would be so perfect because once you throw a pick, that doubt is so buried in your mind.
Yep. And then the crowd's going to get louder. It's going to get more intense. The pressure's going to get higher because now you're down 7 to start the game.
Even just a deflection, something like that would rattle his mind. We need something like that early on.
Yep.
And I think my confidence, I have more confidence when OU plays a highly ranked team than I do when we play nobodies. Like in trap games, I get so scared. Like Tulane, I was so scared. But I take it back. Last year, OU Texas. that game, it looked like they were just, like the whole time, I was getting like goosebumps because they were just like, yes, raps. We don't care. Texas, what were they, like 3 or something? We were
3 versus 12.
12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we went out there and we were going crazy because if we win that toss, BB does the same thing. He defers the second half. We're going to play defense. Because defense, I would rather, you know how much you score a touchdown. Okay, yeah, crowd's going to go, ah. But a sack, a 3 and out, something crazy because that defense is full of a bunch of lunatics. And they're going to start going crazy.
Yes.
And so then, when I see every time I see Danny hit the...
Yes.
And I see that, I get to see that. I'm like, dude, I'll jump from this 30th row now.
I want to expand on that real quick. That Texas game looked different than every other game Brent Venables has ever coached.
Yes.
Not even the big wins that we haven't had many big wins, but even in the wins, in the good games that we've had, nothing looked like Texas.
Yeah.
That team was different in a great way. And the reason why, and we talked about this, I think, on our very first podcast, maybe our second, we never allow our team to celebrate and get emotional. That team, man, that team was so emotional. You saw it, the offense, the defense, the celebration on the sideline. That team cared and was emotional and was passionate and played with just heart. And that's something we don't allow in many games. And so that's what I hope to see versus Tennessee is like, yes, we create a big play, like the Billy Bowman pick on the first drive, and then the offense comes out. They are pumped up. They're fired up. The sideline, the
Boomer squad over here.
The Boomer squad for
my fault.
the Jersey squad.
Yeah. So that's that was the difference maker in the Texas game. Was that emotion? Oh man, that was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I saw. Shout out Owen Heineke, Bishop Kelly legend.
Yes, sir.
He went to Ohio State, played lacrosse his freshman year. Transferred here. He's a linebacker, but he goes in trash minutes, but he plays special teams. Mm-hmm. I was watching the OU Texas game the other day. I think we just had it on. I was watching it.
Yeah.
The first, to kick off the game, he's a gunner or whatever. He's running and he kills this Texas kid. It's him, they're tied in. Just blows him up.
Yeah.
And he's going, and then he just grabs the returner by the ankles, pretty much grab the first contact, then everybody stop him at the 9 or something. And he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
I said that is the first play of the game.
Yes.
And the defense is going to be because he's a linebacker, so that whole defense is this is our guy.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to go, they're lit, and then they get to go on here, and they're oh, fresh meat. Uh-huh. That sign that was in Swine Week, brother freshman, that's what's there. Fresh meat, Nico, Danny's going to...
That's what you need. It makes such a big difference, that energy. That energy, that is what won us OU Texas last year.
Yes.
What won us OU Texas, and it can win us this game. That is why I say, you're so right. Win the toss. Make a play on defense. Come off that sideline berserk.
And the crowd is going to lose.
I told Colby this yesterday. I said, I like watching us play defense more than I like watching offense.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because
it's the energy.
Yes.
It's the energy.
Because I feel dude, I could put on these pads right now. Mm-hmm. They give me so much juice. I'm sitting here in jeans. I can't go out here and play. What's happening?
What happens when the offense goes out on the field? The energy dies.
It drops.
It's because, the crowd, you obviously can't be losing your mind. But then it's just you have to create your own energy if you're out there.
Yeah, so I think it's the players are rigid. They're running it looks like they're playing 7-on-7 in practice.
Yeah.
Because they're doing these so scripted motions. It looks so scripted. And if you go back and watch Lincoln Riley's offense, obviously that's not scripted and obviously it's planned. Yeah. But it doesn't look scripted because you're allowing players to be themselves and be loose. Yes, be loose, and that's I think a problem with the offenses recently. So just the energy and being too rigid. And so I hope, like you said, big play on defense, get some energy to the crowd going, and so the offense will have that same vibe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we get into the key things that we need to do to win the game?
Let's do it.
Okay. I got a list of 8 key things, and I think that if we can do I know, I want pizza. But I think if we can achieve all of these 8 factors, we will beat Tennessee, and we will make national news. Number 1, keep the ball longer than them. We got to drain the clock. The reason why Tennessee puts up so many points is because, well, one, they have the ball half the game, but is because they score so quickly. And this is exactly what Army did to us years ago versus OU, which was Army almost beat us in Norman. And the reason wasn't because they were better than us, it's because they held the ball for longer. I remember we would get the ball, go score a touchdown. Army would drain 8 or 9 minutes off the clock, score a touchdown. And did we go to overtime with them?
I think so.
I was at that game with JJ. Anyways, that is the only reason they almost beat us. And Army was a significantly worse team than us, but it's because they held the ball longer, they almost beat us. If we hold the ball longer than Tennessee, I think that is number one, probably the key factor that might help us win this game.
The way to do that, first downs.
First
You
downs.
have to move the chains.
Yep.
It's basically the same synonym. Move the chains and keep the ball.
Yep, I have that.
Move the chains.
Yeah. Number 2, quick throws, air raid. Their secondary is the worst part of their defense. They picked up guys in the portal, they haven't meshed yet, and it shows that they've allowed 16 passing first downs, and their D-line has only allowed 9 rushing first downs. There's another stat that I have here too. Where's it at?
Yeah, I think with the O-line being what it is, it has to be quick throws.
Yeah.
You're not going to, people,
That's what I'm saying.
these fans on Twitter are begging for, throw it deep, throw it deep. You can't.
You can't.
You're not against James Pierce Jr. and Tyre West. You can't.
Yeah.
So, quick throws are for sure the way to go here.
Quick throws and air raid, I think, and this is going to sound ridiculous, screen passes. This sounds so ridiculous. This isn't a part of my sheet, but it's along with quick throws. If our receivers can block, make a move on the secondary, what we're doing is we're getting the ball away from the D-line. We're not throwing across the middle of the field to their linebackers. We're getting the ball on the outside perimeter. I think if we can get the ball, keep the ball on the perimeter, quick throws, maybe quick outs, corner routes, maybe some wide out slants, I think that can open up the game for us.
Yeah, Deion Burks, you give him 3 yards. If you can block to get him 3 open yards, right? He will figure out the rest as long as the wide receivers are blocking decently.
Exactly.
If the wide receiver
average block.
Yes. If we see the average block and we get Deion 3 yards of space, he will get 6 yards, 7 yards.
Yes.
So I totally agree that.
Problem is,
we don't.
we're living out Zion Rages.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
We don't have the people.
He's little.
He's extremely little.
Yeah.
But hey, shout out, bro. Happy birthday.
Hopefully next time.
Thank you,
Rick Anderson.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Kylan's birthday was yesterday too.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
big 2-3, big 2-3.
Getting old and monk.
So we'll get back into it. The third factor, I think, everybody knows this, O-line has to give Jackson the time to throw. We will not be allowed to make quick throws and air raid the ball if the O-line doesn't give Jackson enough time to make his reads and make those throws. That's the third factor, and that goes along with 2, which is if our O-line can block, we can make the quick throws, which means we can attack their secondary and score more points and get the ball away from the D-lineman. Number 4, we have to stop their run game. They have 14 rushing touchdowns on the season versus 8 passing touchdowns. They are obviously better rushing the ball. They're averaging 336 rushing yards per game as opposed to 306 passing. Their run game is better than their passing game. We have to stop the run game. And they also have 1 more rushing first down than they do on offense, 45 to 44.
I'm not worried about our run defense, though.
And that's the thing. I'm not worried about it either.
That's one place I'm comfortable.
They're solid. Thing 5, our safeties need to play at a high level. The reason is they're averaging a first down every pass they take. 300 yards per game, they're averaging a first down. Our corners and safeties, our secondary just in general, has to play at a high level. Because what's going to happen is that towards the end of the game, if our D linemen are getting tired, Nico has more time in the pocket, he's going to have more time to read the ball. But if our safeties are locking them down, that's going to give us just enough time for our Mason Thomas to come in or Ethan Downs and get a sack, give him some pressure, block him down.
My comment is this corner injury with Gentry Williams.
Yeah, that's tough.
Last week, would you say that probably the corner with the most snaps behind Jacoby and Woody was probably Eli Bowen, true freshman Eli Bowen, which is kind of I'm sure Eli Bowen's super talented, a little concerning. Because Eli Bowen's also not that huge. He's 5'9".
180.
And so, yeah, I agree that secondary plays can be big because of Nico and the wide receivers.
Yep.
But I'm a bit concerned about the corners. I think the safeties are fine.
Safeties are
We have great safeties.
Probably the two best 1-2 punch safety duo in the entire country.
But the corners, I am concerned about.
My thing is that corners, yes. The thing there's certain corners that he put out there. I don't know, shout out Woody, bet you're a great guy. But Woody has been doing the same thing for all 17 years he's been here.
Mm-hmm.
He refuses to turn his head to find the ball.
Yeah, he always uses
PI, or he gets burned.
Yeah.
So it's real simple. But I don't really care how big you are because there's been very talented corners that aren't that big.
Uh-huh.
It'd be nice if you were Sauce Gardner and you're 6'3" and 210. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But Eli Bowen can't change his size. He's not going to grow 4 inches by Saturday.
Yeah.
But on Saturday, he looked fine. I mean, we weren't playing crazy.
He did really well.
But I trust on the defense. I trust those. However many coaches on Jay Valai, I trust him that if he thinks he can put him out there and he can go make a play because he's facing our receivers in practice. I mean, our receivers aren't huge, but still, if he's locking up, I mean, Zion Kearney's like 6'1", so like if he's locking him up in practice, I mean, there's your size that you want. So I don't necessarily have a problem. It'd be great. Gentry has more of a knack for the football, but Gentry, I mean, he's hurt all the time, so it's just like, hey, kind of next man up. Also, I don't know if I said it on the pod, but I think I just said it in our chat. I said Des Malone is kind of trash. I guess he's not.
Yeah, he's
great. Wait a minute. I think he allowed one catch for like -2 yards last week.
He balled out, apparently.
Yeah. So I guess maybe he's just flying under the radar.
I don't think our corner is necessarily like a super weakness. It's just like we got downgraded from a 5-star junior, a 4 or 5-star that's a junior, to a true freshman 4-star.
That's fair.
So it's just a drop. It's definitely our weakest spot in secondary.
Yeah. But, that's the thing. Safeties and secondary just needs to play at a high level. Number 6, we have to convert on third down.
Yeah.
This ties into keeping the ball longer, making our time of possession longer. Also, a fun fact about Tennessee, opposing teams' third down conversion percentage, 15.79%. So if we can convert on third down, that's going to allow us to hold the ball longer. We get more first downs. We take time off the clock. Gives our team a chance to score more points. Speaks for itself. Number 7, stop them in the red zone. And this is something I don't know if a lot of people are paying attention to. Tennessee this season is 19 for 21 on scoring in the red zone. They are 14 for 21 touchdown ratio. That means when they are in the red zone, 91% of the time, they are scoring in some capacity. 67% of the time, they are scoring touchdowns. We have to keep them out of the red zone or stop them when they're in the red zone. When they get in there, they're pretty much going to score every single time. They're going to score something, and 2 out of 3 times, they're going to score a touchdown.
I'm not mad if we stop them for a field goal, but that should be a goal for every red zone trip is to get the field goal out of it.
Yeah.
And I think we're really good at that. I mean, we've shown that we're really good in red zone, so I hope that we match up well there.
Yep. And number 8, and the last key factor to win this game, the crowd has to step up.
Yeah.
The crowd is going to play a major factor in shaking up Nico and shaking up just the whole offense in general. If we get the crowd factor into the game, and it's just like you said, say it's fourth quarter, it's a 1-score game. You got Jackson versus Nico. Jackson already has the advantage because he's played in several games where he has to step it up.
Yeah.
Nico hasn't. And if you add in the crowd factor, where you hear just yelling, it's so loud, the decibels are high, you can't even hear yourself think, all those things are going to play into it, and it's going to shake Nico up, and we'll have a chance to win the game. So to kind of go over the 8 key things, number 1, keep the ball longer during the clock. Number 2, quick throws, air raid, because their secondary is not very good. Number 3, the O-line has to give Jackson Arnold time to throw. Number 4, we need to stop the run game. Number 5, our secondary needs to play at a high level. Number 6, we have to convert on third down. Number 7, we have to prevent them or stop them while they're in the red zone. And number 8, the crowd has to step up their game. Those are my key factors
I'm going to add one
to win this game.
I'm going to add a big one. I think this is a key factor that I'll do like some ESPN analytics, like Spencer Analytics here.
Spencer Analytics.
If we pressure / sack Nico, at a good rate, at a high rate. I think we win this game 90% of the time. If we don't get to Nico barely at all, I think we lose this game 90% of the time. That I think that is the absolute difference maker because, we can talk, like, secondary is a big position here, and the offense is obviously a big question mark this weekend, but the thing that's going to stop their offense the most will be stopping Nico the most because he's a freshman. The biggest weakness on their offense, even though right now is their biggest strength, can be Nico if we get to him. And so I think the key is rattle Nico early, get to him, make his life chaotic.
Yeah.
Because freshmen, no, I don't care if you're Nico, I don't care if you're Adrian Peterson, I don't care who you are. Freshmen make mistakes when under the most pressure because they're freshmen.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest key factor is pressure quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think, y'all pretty much covered all of it. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with any of the key factors to beating them. It's 11-on-11. Somebody's got to win. So, I just think, honestly, it's going to come down to who really wants it more. I know it's cliche.
Yeah. No, but you're not wrong.
And it's for multiple reasons. I think Tennessee has something to prove to be like, hey, we're actually back because they've been back for like 3 years with Hendon Hooker, and they were real good then, but couldn't quite get it done. But us, we got
everything in the world.
Literally, first SEC game. Oh, they're not ready. You got our biggest rival that is a couple hours south, the number one ranked team in the country. So their fans are they're on cloud nine.
Not to mention everybody when we join the SEC. Oh, Texas is coming in. Texas is the pristine program to come in here. Nobody's talking about us.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about OU.
So we have that, and it's just like, why not? Why not us? Why not us? We got college game day here in Norman. About to play Tennessee. What are they, 4? Or what are they?
7.
7? Are they 7? Okay. But still, I just think there's so much for both teams that it's going to really come down to, if you really think, say you're a dog and you come here to play college football and you're really like that, somebody's got to put the cleats on and show me out here if you're really like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I will add in that the last time, also, we haven't really talked about Josh Heupel like that. Thanks for all you did for us.
Yeah, that's fact.
You literally are our last Natty championship. So, whatever. I personally, if they do something for him, I wouldn't be mad. I think he deserves it. Mm-hmm. But the last time a Josh Heupel offense played a BB defense, it was 40-6. Clemson beat us in 2014 by 34 points. There were some other factors. But that OU team, they weren't terrible. They were not terrible. So I just think Josh Heupel plays a lot. He doesn't want to throw the ball. He loves running the ball, which is crazy coming from a former quarterback.
Which also shows their stats.
Yeah, it makes sense. Dylan Sampson has 9 rushing tutties, which is more than our entire probably team.
Yeah. All right, we have 8 minutes to go over 4 sport positions.
Let's roll.
So we'll go really quick with the non.
Yeah.
We'll go really quick with the non-OU ones. All right. Starting off Friday night, Illinois, Nebraska, both 3-0, both Big Ten, both on the come up. Friday at 7 p.m. on Fox. Nebraska, Illinois. I think Nebraska is slightly back, not completely back.
Yep.
I think that Nebraska wins. I'm going to just throw out 31-21.
Are they at Illinois?
They're at Nebraska.
At Nebraska? My score prediction would be 35-14. 35-17. Nebraska over Illinois.
It'll be done.
Dylan Raiola is playing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Rule's got him rolling. I think Nebraska, that environment's nuts. Nebraska fans are probably top 3 in the country.
For sure.
Any sport.
Oh, they are.
But
Great
I'll go, it's still Big Ten play. Offense is usually slim to none, but it's a little better now. So I'll go 24-17.
We'll get these all written down.
Yeah.
All right, 2:30 on CBS. USC at Michigan. I think so. USC 2-0, Michigan 2-1. USC is favored by -5. They are road favorites. I think that is fair. USC is balling out. I think Lincoln Riley finally has a defensive coordinator that's competent, and that is more scary than people are giving credit for. I think USC wins this. I think Michigan's also kind of a fall off here.
They are.
I think USC wins it. I don't think it's going to be big because Michigan still has a great defense. I'll give them the 35. Man, it's hard to get Michigan points, though. 35-17. It's hard to get Michigan points.
Okay. I want to add to that. Michigan changed their starting quarterback this week.
True, it is, yeah.
Is it Mr. Orgy?
Mr. Orgy.
Mr. Orgy, let's go.
Which people said that he was going to start this summer, but then he just didn't really prove himself as much as he possibly could have. So that's where Davis Warren started. Anyways, I think USC is rolling. I hate to say it. Their offense looks solid. They seem really confident on defense. I think they're going to go in there and blow them out. Personally, I think 5 points is very low. I would 100% bet the over if I was betting, but I'm not. I think USC is going to beat them 35-10. I think it's going to be another Texas stomping.
Yeah. I think Michigan's still Michigan in some capacity, but now that Lincoln Riley has D'Anton Lynn as a defensive coordinator, they are kind of scary. Won't lie to you, but I think it'll still be somewhat close based on just because it's in Ann Arbor and they have to go to the big house. And the fans, they make a difference. So I'll still go USC, but I'm gonna go 27-20.
Okay. All right, we got 4 minutes to do the last two. Utah, Oklahoma State, number 12 at number 14, 3-0, 3-0. Utah favored by 2 points on the road. I think. I'm worried about Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon has not been playing well. And the scheme that Oklahoma State's running has not been helping him. They've been trying to throw the ball a lot. I don't think that works against Utah. Utah's super physical. I got Utah 27-20.
I really like that score. Run through it quick. Alan Bowman is not the quarterback you want to do an air raid offense with. He is more athletic than Ben Roethlisberger, and that is giving him much more credit than he deserves. I think he's a terrible quarterback. Ollie Gordon isn't playing as good as you think he can. OSU's a really hard place to play. I think Utah goes in there and whoops them. I think it's 35-17 game.
Jeez. Just a big dog.
Yeah.
Jeez. I agree. Ollie Gordon's probably still sipping on that drink that he was sipping on when he was in that car and got pulled over.
Bro.
Sorry, there's one person I don't care about you, Ollie Gordon. I can't stand you.
Can't stand him.
And you got that high top fade with the dreads, bro. Sky top. Cut it off. Let's see. I'm going through the Utes, obviously. LSU, I just don't think they're that good. Colin, shout out my cousin.
They're not.
I'll see you at Thanksgiving, bro. I don't mean any of this towards you. Love you, dog. But I'll go. I think Utah beats them 31-16.
Ooh, wow. Y'all are expecting a whooping.
Well, yeah.
All right, we got a minute apiece. Tennessee at OU, 3-0, 6 versus 15. We are dogs. Home dogs for the first time in many years by 7 points. I obviously have to pick OU. I think that's kind of mandatory here, but I'm picking OU out of hope and optimism. The thing is, I will say, I think that it's going to be us by a little or them by a lot. If we show up and play, then it's going to be a close game and we're going to win. If we don't, and our offense has no improvement, we're going to get spanked. Like, it's not going to be close at all. Like, we're not going to put up any points with our offense. So, I think it's going to be us by a little or them by a lot. I'm going to be optimistic and say it's us by a little. And I'll go ahead and say it's a low-scoring matchup, because I think that's the only kind of matchup we win in is a low-scoring matchup. I'll go 24-21.
Wow, that's really close to my score. I mean, here's what I'll say. Everybody in the country thinks Tennessee's going to win this game. They have the statistics to show it. They have all these big-time impact players, quote-unquote. But if there's anything I believe in, it is Sooner magic, baby. And we were doubted against Alabama in 2014. We went to the Sugar Bowl and beat them with Trevor Knight. Now, granted, I understand this is a different decade and a different team, but the Sooners always find a way to win these games that we shouldn't win. Ohio State in 2017 with Baker Mayfield went to the Horseshoe, beat them in pretty good fashion.
Plant the flag.
When you're at home, you're an underdog. Sooner Magic, there's so much on the line with us. I think we come out with a win. I was going to say I think the score will be 28 OU, 24 Tennessee.
I agree. Sooner Magic, there's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens whenever you least expect it. And I don't expect it this week.
Yeah.
I really don't expect it. But, like you said, I gotta go with the Sooners. In a low-scoring game, 3-2. I think, I don't know, and I'm usually not wrong. Kansas last year, I had a bad feeling. OSU, I had a bad feeling, and we lost. But usually, sometimes I have good feelings.
Yeah.
And I have one, and I don't know why, but I feel like it might not be close, dude. I feel like OU is going to come out with something crazy, and I think that we might win. I'm going 31-21.
Wowza.
Can I expand on your feeling?
I wouldn't expand on that. Yeah, go ahead.
When I feel like we're gonna win, we usually win. When I feel like we're gonna lose, I get this like just sad feeling all week. And that's how I got with Kansas and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
When we went into Texas, I didn't feel sad, I didn't feel happy, I felt terrified. Terrified. And we won. And that is how I feel this week. I feel literally terrified. I know when I watch this game, I'm going to be biting my nails. I'm going to be I'm going to be a nervous wreck. That's how I only get that way for OU games. I'm like a nervous wreck. That's how I feel this week. And that's how I felt at the Texas game. So hopefully there's a trend there.
Yeah, I want to add to that real quick before we get off. I have feelings just like you guys do for every week. I had a feeling about Kansas. I had a feeling about OSU. I have zero feelings this week. I have zero feelings. And it's almost exactly how I felt about Texas, too. Because I came into the game and normally I have this gut feeling like, oh, we're going to get our ass beat or whatever. I don't have any negative feelings whatsoever. And normally that's a sign to me. And I'm like, okay, we're going to come out here, we're going to come out and play, be some dogs, and make a mark for ourselves. And show everybody who OU football is. Because I think people have forgot about us. They've put Texas over us, all these other teams, SEC, and they forgot who we are.
They did forget who we are. They all, they're out here saying that, Texas was the team that had here. They're the program that had. They weren't running the Big 12.
No, yeah.
6 Big 12s back to back. I think it is about time that we remind people who we are. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case this week.
I agree.
All three of us 3-0 for the Sooners right here.
Yep.
We want to get to 4-0.
4-0.
Let's go.
I'm coming. Me and Colby are going to be on that first row. I promise.
Nico.
I'm going to... Mom, I hope you're not watching.
Nico, you're going to call your mom or text her and be like, I heard some of the craziest things from these OU fans.
Yeah.
And it's going to be us.
It's going to be
your mom's going to ask you what you hear, and you're going to not be able to text her.
Say it.
You're not going to be able to text her.
It's just going to be stars. All the symbols.
Yeah.
All right. I got to run.
Thanks, guys.
Good pod. All right, I got to dip.